Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is done in black and white because I ran out of color for my printer it's coming today, but so I just printed this out in black and white, and I mean honestly you can choose whatever colors that you want. I'm going to do this red, this little thing here brown, of course the tree is going to be green, this is going to be yellow, and then this is going to be green and white, the top. But you can choose whatever colors, obviously, that you want to do. So you just gotta figure out. I'm gonna do this color I've been doing all along for my other ones because I'm making a big blanket. So, well, not a big blanket. I'm making a throw. So, but I'm just here to show you this. Let's jump right into this. Get your colors ready, and I'll meet you right back here. So I'm going to be using my 6.5 just because just about everything I'm using is worsted. And there's a lot of colors involved. So that is what I'm going to be using. All depends on what you're using. If you're using just all 4 weights, I would just use a 6. But it's going to have to be a big one anyway, whatever you're using. So I'm going to chain 26 and do 25 single crochets. That's my 26. You had to recount that. So again, I'm going to turn it over, and into my back bumps, I'm going to do my 25 single crochets back up. So for this particular one, I am going to, red is my main color. So I'm going to keep my base color and red attached, and then the other colors I'll just pull out long strands and I'll just snip off. Makes my life easier. If you use bobbins and everything, that's fine. You can do that. Chain 1 and turn your work. So we're going to do 6 single crochets, and then we're going to bring in the red. This is my 6th stitch, so I'm going to pull up a loop. Because this is the back of the project, I'm going to bring my yarn over here. I'm going to add my red, so I'm going to finish that stitch with my new color. I'm going to bring my straggler over, and with red I'm going to do 11 single crochets. That's 11. I'm going to go back to my base color, which is all the way down here. So just make sure this is loosey-goosey. You don't want to pull this tight for sure. You want this to be nice and loose for when you straighten it out. It's not going to make it roll. And then with my base color, I'm going to do 8 single crochets to the end. This is my 8th stitch. It's kind of the turning over stitch at the end, so just make sure you're getting into all your stitches. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 3, we're going to do 7 single crochets. This is my 7th stitch. I'm going to finish it with my red. I'm going to weave in my base color at the back. With my red, I'm going to do 13 single crochets. And one more stitch for 13, and I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to finish that stitch with my base color. And with my base color, I'm not going to weave in my red, by the way, because I don't want it to show through my base color. With my base color, I'm going to do 5 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. So turn it this way. Don't turn it this way, because you'll get it more tangled. So chain 1, turn your work. We're on round 4. I had to change my battery. Round 4 is going to be 4 single crochets. That's 4, so I'm going to bring I'm at the back, so I'm going to bring that piece over. I'm going to finish it with my red. Just make sure you keep that loose. It's blocking a stitch, so make sure you get into that. And you're going to do 15 single crochets. That's my 15th stitch. I'm going to finish with my base color. And with my base color, I'm going to do 6 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 5 is 5 single crochets. That's my 5th stitch, so I'm going to finish it with my red. With red, I'm going to do 16 single crochets. So this is 16. I'm going to finish that stitch with my base color, and with my base color I'm going to do 4 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. So we're going to bring in the brown just for a couple of rows here. With your base color, you're going to do 4 single crochets. That is 4. So I'm going to finish that with my red. With the red, I'm going to do 11 single crochets. That's 11. I'm going to bring in the brown. So I'm going to finish my 11th stitch with the color brown. With brown, I'm going to do 1 single crochet. I'm going to finish it with my red. With my red, I'm going to do 4 single crochets. That's my 4th stitch. I'm going to finish it with my base color. And I'm going to do 5 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. So, this brown that I just added, I'm only doing 2 rows, so I'm just going to cut off what I think I just need, just so I don't get more tangled. And this is the stem of the Christmas tree. So round 7 is going to be 5 single crochets. This is my 5th stitch. I'm going to finish it with my red. With my red, I'm going to do 4 single crochets. This is my 4th one. I'm going to finish it with my brown. I'm going to do my 1 brown. So I'm basically just going in and pulling up a loop and changing again. I'm going to finish that with my red. And with my red, I'm going to do 11 single crochets. That is my 11th stitch. I'm going to finish it with my base color, which I've been weaving in. I left the brown way back here. And with my base color, I'm going to do 4 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. So that is it for my brown. So you can choose to leave a great big tail. I'm going to cut some off, and then with these 2 pieces I'm just going to tie them in a knot, and I will deal with them later. So easy peasy. Round 8, we're going to incorporate the green because we're doing the Christmas tree, in case you didn't notice. We're going to do 5 single crochets. This is my 5th stitch. I'm going to finish with my red. With my red, I'm going to do 7 single crochets. This is my 7th stitch. I'm going to bring in the green. Let's try not make a knot while I'm doing this. I'm going to finish this stitch with my green. This green is Evergreen Green. It's a Red Heart Super Saver, and it's such a vibrant color. With my green, I'm going to do 7 single crochets. That's my 7th stitch. I'm going to finish it with my red, and I'm going to do 1 single crochet. So I'm just pulling up a loop basically, and I'm going to finish it with my base. Again, make sure that's loose, and with my base I'm going to do 5 single crochets. That's 5. You're going to chain 1, turn your work. Your next round is going to be 5 single crochets. So I'm going to finish that with my red. And so with my red, all this for 1 stitch. So pull up a loop and switch to green. With your green, you're going to do 7 single crochets. So I'm weaving in all this crap at the back here. So you got to be pretty loosey-goosey. This is my 7th stitch, so I'm going to finish it with my red. With my red, I'm going to do 6 single crochets. I'm going to drop everything. I'm only going to weave in my base color because I need that over here. I do 3. This is my 6th stitch, so I'm going to finish it with my base color. I'm going to do 6 single crochets to the end. That's my 6. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 10 is going to be 11 single crochets. That's 11. I'm going to finish that with my red. With my red, I'm going to do 2 single crochets. I'm going to finish that with my green. With my green, I'm going to do 5 single crochets. That's my 5th stitch. I'm going to finish with my red. With red, I'm going to do 2 single crochets, finishing that with my base color. And my base color is going to be 5 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 11 is going to be 5 single crochets. This is my 5th stitch, and I'm going to finish with my red. With my red, I'm going to do 2 single crochets. I'm going to finish that 2nd stitch with my green. With my green, I'm going to do 5 single crochets. So that's 5. I'm going to finish with my red. I'm going to do 2 single crochets with my red. I'm not going to weave in my green. I'm going to leave it here for when I need it. So I'm just weaving in my base color. So 2 single crochets with your red on the 2nd stitch. Finish that with your base color. And 11 single crochets with your base color. Not weaving in the red. I'm trying desperately not to have a knot. Not weaving in the red. The red you see here is from when I pulled it over because I accidentally weaved it in the last round. Chain 1, turn your work. So, if you need to unravel this, which I do, I'm just going to do this to protect my loop. And then you have to just at least attempt to twist. So I'm just twisting this. But sometimes you can get it even more twisted. Round 12 is going to be 11 single crochets with your base color. This is my 11th stitch, so I'm going to finish it with my red. And with my red, I'm going to do 3 single crochets. That's my 3rd stitch. I'm going to finish with my green. With my green, I'm going to do 3 single crochets. So that's my 3rd stitch. I'm going to finish with my red. And I'm going to do 3 single crochets. My 3rd stitch, I'm going to finish with my base color. And I'm going to do 5 single crochets. So my green can get cut off because all I need to do is, I think, just one more, 2 more rows. 2 more rows with the green, so I'm going to cut it off up here, so I've got a really long strand. So that should be enough. But without it being attached to the ball, now it won't wrap around itself. So chain 1 and turn your work. So we're going to do round 13, 5 single crochets with your base color. That's my 5. I'm going to finish that stitch with my red. With my red, I'm going to do 3 single crochets. I'm basically going to follow what I've already done. So on my 3rd stitch, I'm going to finish it with my green. With my green, I'm going to do 3 single crochets. On my 3rd stitch, I'm going to finish it with my red, and I'm going to do 3 single crochets. On my 3rd, I'm going to finish it with my base color, and then I'm going to do 11 single crochets. That is my 11th stitch. I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. Round 14 is going to be 11 single crochets with your base color. This is my 11th stitch, so I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to finish it with the red. With the red, I'm going to do 4 single crochets. This is in the 4th stitch. I'm going to finish it with the green. With the green, I'm going to do 1 single crochet. So I'm basically pulling up a loop and going back to my red. With my red, I'm going to do 4 single crochets. That's 4. That I'm going to finish with my base color. And with my base color, I'm going to do 5 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. So, there's your Christmas tree. Isn't that pretty? We've got to put a star on top. So in your next round, we're going to bring in just 1 yellow, and that's going to be on top. So we're done with the green. Well, we're done with the green until I think we get near the top. I might have to do the green is at the top till we get to the top. So for now, I'm going to cut off, leaving a tail. And any of these you want to tie together, you can tie them together. Like you can weave. Here, let me show you what I mean. I know we're in the middle of doing a tapestry, but let me just show you what I mean. So I can weave down. Now I'm just going through the yarn. I'm splitting the yarn as I go. And I'm going to just kind of pop out down here near this other piece of green. And I'm going to tie these two in a knot, a double knot. They don't have to be tight. That's still pretty loose. I can get a finger under there. So it's not tight. It just keeps it all nice and neat and protected. So we're going to do 5 single crochets. That's 5. I'm going to finish it with my red. Oops. So with my red, I'm going to do 4 single crochets. This is my 4th stitch. So I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to bring in my yellow. I'm going to finish the stitch. So I just want to make my straggler as short as I can. And I'm going to kind of weave that all in at the same time. And I'm going to do my 1 single crochet with yellow. So I'm basically just pulling up a stitch and going back to the red. But I'm still going to weave my straggler in a little bit. Or I could tie them in a knot. Whatever. I could just tie them in a knot to keep them safe. With my red, I'm going to do 4 single crochets, making sure to weave in my base color. This is my 4th one, so I'm going to pull up a loop and I'm going to finish that stitch with my base color. With my base color, I'm not weaving in anything else. I'm going to do my 11 single crochets. That's 11. I'm going to chain 1. I'm pretty sure I'm not using the purple anymore, or the yellow. I'm going to cut off, leaving a little tail, and I'm going to tie these in a knot, a double knot. Alright, round 16 is going to be 11 single crochets, and then you're switching to red. And that's about it for this row. This is my 11th stitch, so I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to finish it with my red. With my red, I'm going to do 9 single crochets. That's my 9th. I'm going to finish with my base color. And then I'm going to do my 5 single crochets. That's my 5. I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. So that's what you should have. Round 17, we're just doing base and red again, so we're going to do 5 single crochets. That's my 5th stitch. I'm going to finish with my red, and I'm going to do 9 single crochets with my red. This is my 9th stitch. I'm going to finish it with my base, and I'm going to do 11 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 18, we're going to do 11 single crochets with your base. This is my 11th stitch. I'm going to finish with my red. I'm going to do 9 single crochets with my red. That's my 9th stitch. I'm going to finish it with my base color. And I'm going to do my 5 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. This is going to be the top of the stocking. We're going to do a lot of back and forth, a lot of 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, changing colors. So I'll try to get you through this as easily as I can, but we're going to be doing white and green for the top. Well, I am anyway. I don't know about you. So first we got to do our 4 single crochets. That's my 4th one. Before I get started though, I'm going to get rid of this red because I don't want a whole pile of knots. So that's my 4th stitch. I'm going to bring in my green to start. Alright, so this is where it gets awkward. Just the first row is going to be awkward. The rest of it, you're just going to follow along. So, you're going to go in, you're going to pull up a loop, and now we add our white. So there's going to be a lot to weave in. We're going to go in, we're going to pull up a loop, and we're going to switch to green. Then we're going to go in, we're going to make sure my white's back there. We're going to pull up a loop, and we're going to switch to white. So this gets a little hairy for the first round. Just making sure you're weaving everything in so you can use it all. So you're going to do this till you're 1 stitch past the red. You're going to do this all the way across into the last stitch, which should be green, and then you should have 10 single crochets left of the base color. So white, finish with green. The problem why it's so awkward is because you're literally weaving in the stragglers too. But then after this it'll get a little bit simpler because like I said, you're just going to be following the colors. So I'm all the way over here. My last one is going to be green, and I'm going to finish that with my base color. then with my base color, I'm going to do 10 single crochets. And that's 10, chain 1, turn your work. And you're going to repeat the same thing for the next row. So you're going to do 10 single crochets. This is 10, so I need to finish it with my green. And then do my 1 green, finish with my white. Just make sure you're getting into every single stitch. So that's my white, finish with my green, and so on and so forth. And you should end in green. And your green needs to be finished with your base color. And then your 4 single crochets. So chain 1, turn your work. So follow the same pattern. So this is what it should look like. Mine's a little out of shape, but this is why we block them, right? So it ends up looking really, really cool, but it is kind of a bit of a pain in the butt. So I had to add more green back here, so I'm just going to tie some knots just to keep everything kind of safe back here. I am done with my green, so I'm going to cut it off, leaving a tail. The white has just got a little bit of a tail, but I'm still going to kind of just snip it off. And I'm going to tie these two in a knot. So that's taken care of there. Your last row is just 1 single crochet in each stitch with your base. You should have 25 stitches still. And that is your very last row. So that's my 25. You can fasten off unless you're putting a border around this or whatever you're doing with it. That's what you should have. It's hard to fit in frame. Now we just deal with stuff at the back. If you're using it for different purposes other than me, then you're probably going to have to sew everything in if you're using it. It depends on what you're using it for. I don't know what you're using it for. So I putting another piece on the back because I'm making a blanket or a throw. I keep saying blanket. It's not going to be as big as a blanket, but so we just need to block this, and I'm going to show you how in case you haven't seen me do it in the other videos. I don't know if you're watching the other videos. Some people might have just kind of come across this one, or maybe this is the first time I've put a video up and I started with this. I don't know. So I'm just going to add it to every video, that way I don't have to worry about what order I post my videos in. So blocking. This is a blocking board. It's just these foam things. I'll zoom out here. It's just these foam things you can buy for, you know, kids playrooms and stuff like that. These ones are specifically for blocking. It has lines on them, so it's helpful. All you need is some water, or you can wash it in the washing machine too. So this one is rolling pretty bad. I'm not sure why. So we just want to soak the edges mostly. I soak the whole thing because if I have to stretch it, which I really do with this one, so I soak the whole entire thing. Doesn't take much to soak it. And then you need to get some pins. So use your lines. That way you know it's going to be somewhat straight. And then you pin it. So there we have it. So that is our project. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.